So look at ways of sharing that load. And then when you build a team and you all understand being an entrepreneur is kind of wacky. So you're talking to them and they actually get it. You talk to people who aren't entrepreneurs, they're trying to figure out, why are you doing all that? Why don't you just go get a job?
Gasparilla Overload. Like I was telling him behind the scenes, it would not be complete without including Karlton. He's a proud UT alum as well. Someone I met post-studies in the amazing Loth Entrepreneurship Center. We were been able to keep in touch a little bit. So, my friend, Karlton, happy Gasparilla, and thank you for joining me.
Hey, I wouldn't miss the opportunity to hang out with who I call Doc Lancey.
Oh,
PhD
man.
in life and survival, and then thriving afterwards. Hey, it's a privilege to be with you.
Oh, well, he defies age, defies adversity, defies exercise limitations. He does so much on the news all over the country. So today, I want to welcome him and you tuning in today to That Entrepreneur Show. And thank you for celebrating Gasparilla with the show. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and this is the #1 podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs to level through the hard times, those ups and downs. We're brought to you today by Coming Alive Podcast Production. And in case you missed the earlier shows in this bonus series, Gasparilla, it's a special holiday. It unites the whole city. Karlton, I'd like to ask you to share one of your favorite Gasparilla memories.
Hey, that'd be easy. The Gasparilla Overload, I did with you first. My debut on the Gasparilla Overload. Being in Tampa during Gasparilla for the first time was a headache because I was like, why are all these streets closed? What are all these people doing? Man, I'm trying to get to the base. And then I started to understand when Gasparilla comes, it takes over the town. And if you live on Bayshore, it may take over your front yard.
Oh, it sure will. Bayshore, everyone, is the longest connecting sidewalk, definitely in the country, maybe the world, where the boats and all the action goes on in the water. And it's talking about that sense of community, right? Having that support system in Tampa for this day. What has been a way that you've been able to build your support system as you continue this very successful entrepreneurial journey?
I think it's doing what you're doing, reaching back. I was in Tampa, as you said, I was on the news. I spoke at the CEO Global Conference and pitch competition, all because I'm connected to the University of Tampa. As you can see behind me, my degrees, people thought I worked there because I was on campus so much. It's like, no, I'm just a student that keeps coming back for more.
And you're making another great point here with the power of networking, right? You heard this quote before. It's not mine. Your network provides your net worth, right? Your net worth is your network. So thank you for highlighting that. But in case anybody missed your earlier shows with me, right, I'll make sure I drop them ahead in the podcast description. So scroll down after today and catch up, follow his journey. What are you focused on most right now?
You know, Muhammad Ali said he had wrestled with an alligator, tussled with a whale, handcuffed lightning, and thrown thunder in jail. Well, I had a fight with a couple of Rottweilers. I'm still here. So I had to save myself from the Rottweilers. And I think that is a testament to why being physically fit is important. So that's what I'm looking at now, trying to connect the dots for people between their everyday life and their fitness, because you don't know what life's going to throw at you. So what I'm trying to do is help spread that. I've been on the news, so it's kind of picking up some momentum now, but I think I'm the best kept secret in the country, and I'm trying to fix that.
I love that. And I love the passion and dedication you put into your work. It's been a lifelong process. And this isn't your first taste of adversity in entrepreneurship, right? You have a pretty powerful story from the jump. So let's share that story.
I think the word pivot would define me. And if you didn't know what pivoting was, you'd think I was just going around in circles. But I tried to get into grad school. Let me back up. I tried to get into prep school. My junior high school counselor felt I was questionable high school material, so she wouldn't let me apply for prep school. I got into the prep school through the Navy's officer program, got drop kicked out of there. It took me 18 years to finish a 4-year degree. And then in 3.5 years, I finished 3 masters, and along the way became the poster child for the executive MBA program. And I don't even have an MBA. Do have a master's in entrepreneurship, but I think using what was available to me allowed me to keep moving forward. They gave me a rubric, gave me a syllabus, and the VA paid for me to go to school, paid me while I was in school. I couldn't help but win. I just had to do the work.
Yeah, and that's something that will come with these heavy degrees. And congratulations on getting those degrees, finishing up that one, everyone. It doesn't matter how long your goal takes, as long as you find a way to get there. And one of my slogans, never give up, tell me I can't, and I will. And he's doing just that. Now, there's a conversation often, Karlton, about is education worth it, right? Nothing does replace that firsthand experience, right? Getting thrown into the ring as an entrepreneur. But what were some benefits you found by completing the master's program in entrepreneurship to help make your mission, your goals more solid?
You touched on it. The network. Being in school allowed me to meet people from all over the world. And then being in education, they were pursuing their education for their own employment or for their own entrepreneurial journey. And so being able to connect with people from everywhere just by going to class. Dr. Kutramana said anybody can do the work, turn in their assignments, but what you need to focus on is making connections, finding advocates in academia. That's how I got invited back. Folks, doctors over in the Entrepreneurship Center said, hey, I think it'd be a good idea to have Karlton speak at this CEO Global Conference. And it happened. So that piece of education is invaluable, and having the actual education, the textbook and lab piece of it helps you because you can't thrive in your industry if you have no idea what's going on.
And that is certainly the truth. You got to be paying attention. Of course, pivoting when necessary, something he highlighted earlier. And he said something, Entrepreneurship Center, right? Let's show some love to the Load Center in case they're tuning in, which I hope they're tuning in. A lot of great folks in there, from Bert and Rebecca and Giles all the way down. And Monica, I mean, you name it, Brandon, there's so many
Brandon.
rock stars in there. And Brandon stepped up, right? Taking a little bit into
Yep.
what Bert was doing. So big props to everyone in the Low Center. If you're in the Tampa area, it is a startup incubator, accelerator programs. They have it all. And the support you get there is second to none. And as you got to the CEO forum, right, you're speaking on a huge stage. That's part of scaling, right? What are some tips or some advice you can give to our entrepreneurs today who are fascinated by your story, right? But they know it didn't happen over the night, right? How were you able to scale? What's some advice you can provide?
I would say time and tenacity. You're going to have to let it take the time it's going to take, and you're going to have to be tenacious enough to keep pressing in. You don't throw seeds in the ground, run the sprinklers overnight, and get your harvest tomorrow. You're going to do some stuff and you're going to think nobody's paying attention, but people are paying attention. And, if you sharpen your saw, that's what the time allows you to do. Get proficient at your skill set. So when the opportunity comes along and they give you access to a stage or a platform, you don't bomb it, because sometimes your ambition and your persistence will get you through a door, but then you don't have the substance to stay. So sharpen your saw, stay tenacious, and don't give up.
And now we have all of these resources online, free resources. But again, nothing's going to replace that network, right? Even in the Entrepreneurship Center, me getting off the elevator, Bert's office was right there, having those organic coffee cooler, whatever they used to call them in corporate, right? Where we'd hop on the whiteboard real quick and we eye some things out and we make it happen. And that's a way, of course, we're highlighting networking a lot, but it's a way that you're going to be able to start moving the needle and not be like me, where spoke in my MBA for 2015, went into the incubator program maybe 2022 or 23, and I'm still working in hospitality more than I would like to. It's still taking a lot of hours away from what I'm doing. So that's incredible there. And you're doing speaking engagements, but something else you are remarkable at is having business across multiple states, right? Being successful in multiple state lines. He's out in Georgia, he's out in Florida. I know you're in a bunch of other places too. What are some tips you can give to entrepreneurs who do have those aspirations, right, to grow and scale, not just in the state, but become a nation and, in your case, worldwide phenomenon?
I think it's relationships. I love affirming the value of people, and you never know what door that small hinge of a person is attached to. You blow them off because you don't see them as anybody. Just like you were on the rooftop. What do we call that? The balcony. You gave me your card. You had your blazer on. And I'm thinking, all right, he must be in school here. But you had finished your degree. And so to see you come back and talk to my professional communication class, it just came full circle. I was like, wow, it's managing and nurturing those relationships, because you never know when they can come back and reach out to you and ask you to do something because of how you treated them.
Networking, relationships, right? We're honing in on a lot of areas that seem obvious, but are often overlooked or not executed in the right way. I mean, even with the podcast process, I have an 8-step process, and the first one's networking. Many people think, oh, we're networking just for guests. Well, no, we're networking with people in our networks who have a huge network, right? That may be able to introduce you or refer you because of the power of that relationship. And thank you for sharing that. We briefly touched about your work right now. Who is your target customer? And when I say that, who can you serve the most?
It'd be that person that was just like me, but you're not significantly overweight. You're just kind of scrawny and average looking. You want to get in better shape. You want to have more strength, more endurance. And by doing that, you're going to improve your resiliency. So it's that 40-year-old, 40-plus-year-old male that has a family, family centric, loves his family, and wants to be there to serve them for the long haul.
Yes. What is some common, I'm not going to call them mistakes, but common areas of improvement, I guess, for new clients that come your way to maybe help out our audience here who may exactly fit that niche?
I'm going to say, remember to forget. So remember where you were in college. If you played college sports, you were the captain, you were the all-star, but don't forget, you don't have that body now. So let's start with where you are and craft and curate a program that can help you capitalize on your current level of fitness or lack thereof, because we can all do something. If you can sit and stand, then guess what? We can put you in a split stance, start you doing split squats so that we can develop your body without putting a bunch of weight on you. So look at where they are, start gradually. Don't think you're going to be ready for a Spartan race after 3 weeks of training. It's not going to happen.
Well, while you say Spartan race, I got to show love to today's guest of honor because he actually has a little bit of a record set when it comes to fitness, right? He does these races. He has a Marine record, right? So I want to spotlight you here, man. Let's talk about that for a sec.
So what happened, as they say, what had happened was that I wanted to compete in the 2016 Olympics. And I felt if I had a college coach, I wouldn't have to hire a private coach. And so I asked the coach to give me some tips. And he was like, can't do that unless you're on the team. So I go back to run my time trials and I can't find out when the times are. So I go out, run the time trials, make the team as a walk-on. And so at that point, I was America's first and only 45-year-old retired combat veteran to make a collegiate track debut as a walk-on. So you think about it, it's a small community. College athletes, professional athletes, they're a small community. I was able to break into that, as many would say, as a dad, but I just didn't have a dad bod.
And continuing to inspire me every single time we've talked. We talked about a lot already, everyone, and we're not done just yet. Be sure to stick around to the end of the show to find out how to get in touch with today's guest. But since we talked about scaling, I know that you're also a mentor and right, you coach and you really help people improve their lives. Let's go backwards then. Say someone's tuning in today and they're ready to just get started with their company, right? They're launching into entrepreneurship. What were some mistakes that you made in the beginning? Some things you should have done. That way they go ahead and they fast forward that extra 6 months, year, 2, 5 years ahead.
But it goes back to the power of networking. Don't try to do it all by yourself. I mean, if you have to, you just got to play with the hand you've been dealt. But if you can make those relationships, you can outsource some things. You got other aspiring entrepreneurs that are probably excelling at something your business needs, and they're also trying to grow their business, so you can collaborate. So I would say find some people to collaborate with, or build a team, or reach out to schools. If you have insurance, you can probably get interns from local colleges and universities. So look at ways of sharing that load. And then when you build a team and you all understand being an entrepreneur is kind of wacky, so you're talking to them and they actually get it. You talk to people who aren't entrepreneurs, they're trying to figure out, why are you doing all that? Why don't you just go get a job? So you can have a community and a team by collaborating or either drawing folks in to build your team. That way you've got some encouragement along the way, some direction, a sounding board. There's just strength in numbers.
There sure is. And I don't think you're really going to scale until you do finally let go. And I understand the frustrations, like every other business owner, of finally letting go of their baby, right? A piece. You know how to do everything. You've once worn all the hats. In my case, back to that 8-step podcast process: networking, preparing, recording, editing, uploading, following up, marketing, rinse and repeat, right? All of those things. Plus, I used to be more involved in writing. I did a bunch of books in those first couple of years of entrepreneurship. Last year, I ghost writ 7 or 8 books, right, for other people just to build this and to get out of the restaurant, right? So hospitality had to go, but it did play its role. A lot of great points there, Karlton. Now, if someone's tuning in today and I have Mr. Resilience on the phone, on the horn today. They want to give up, right? They may have had these unrealistic expectations of how quick success will happen in entrepreneurship after their first spurt happened and it went down. What's a piece of advice you can offer to everyone?
Man, if they're walking, I would say just try to envision yourself transitioning from crawling to walking. It's a quantum leap, and all of us fail. There's no doubt about it. Some of us were traumatized more than others, but we don't think about it now. We take one step, we're on the phone, we're talking to people, we're doing several different at the same time while we're walking. So if we can just envision how much persistence it took to transition from crawling to walking, that resiliency is already inside of us. As long as there's life, there's hope. I mean, you're a perfect example. You got run over by a car, knocked and landed on your face, and it's like you finish your degree, you're helping other people with their podcasts, you're transitioning, you're making moves so that you can be more involved in your business and growing your business instead of wearing all those hats, writing, following up, networking. You don't have to do all that. But the person that is like, I don't know if it's going to work, they can just look at you. You're just as resilient as I am. And they're just as resilient as we are if they just stop and get themselves the credit for it.
That's right. In life, we're going to be faced with consistent adversity and consistent challenges, especially as a business owner. You have to understand that for every dark day, the sun will come out tomorrow, right? You heard that old song, but it's something where if you're easily offended in business, right? Entrepreneurship might not be for you, but if you do have something you're truly passionate about, right? You're an expert in a certain area. I always like to say, hey, we're good at a handful of things, each of us, right? We're not great at everything. It's impossible to be. So find people to supplement your weaknesses, find people to build your network with, your community, finding a mentor like someone like Karlton, who's really going to be willing to give you his all in each and everything he does. Now, Karlton, what's next for you as this airs? This is going to be Gasparilla Overload. So beginning of end of January, excuse me. What are some things you have looking forward to in the new year?
BC on the Bloom Show with the Tampa affiliate the 19th of December, the 5th of January, and with the Olympics being in LA in 2028. I've got the triathlon. I got the Ironman stuff out of my system. I done went out and competed in a couple of them. I'm ready for something short and sweet, and that spells 800 meters. So I'm going to throw myself back in that ring, start training for the 2028 Olympics. I'll be 58. We're going to make it happen.
Do you see any parallels between the intense training of something like that with running your own business?
Oh, absolutely. I think by shooting for what others would call impossible, it has allowed me to land somewhere above average, and in a lot of cases, in an excellent category. And my business, I have the same goal, the International Stretch and Strength Institute, where we take those high level performers, those affluent individuals who've got everything in their life except their health. And I mean robust health. I mean, if your child is being attacked by a dog, you ain't got no problems putting yourself between that dog and your child and saving your dog's life.
Oh man, I mean, you said that incredibly well, everyone. Everything else is of such high importance until your health is not, right? Until your health gets to a point, we don't want to let it get to that point, right? So following people like Karlton online, working with people like Karlton will help you stay ahead of that curve. I mean, I've been friends with him on LinkedIn and on social media since I met him, and he's always putting out value or some inspiration, right? Or some ways to get ahead in his field. And Karlton, this episode was exactly as I expected. Lights out. When I say he's one of my favorite UT people, I mean it. He's someone who has been incredibly supportive of me, and I hope I have reciprocated right since I met him, where supported my books, right? There's some awesome pictures online with him in my books. I always made sure to get him the latest copy, and I encourage you to find people like him in your corner, because in entrepreneurship, you may be alone a lot of the day doing the work, like right now, making it happen, recording in a Starbucks here as I'm up visiting my mom for the holidays. And that's just a very small example of a pivot. But Karlton, where can we find you online? Where can we get in touch with you?
Well, I've made things simple. Karlton Metals with a K, LinkedIn, YouTube, email is fit, the word FIT at majesticbalance.com. They can even text me, 813-476-3472.
I love it. And since we have a second here, we talked about the Load Center a little bit, but I want to show a little more love there. What is one of your favorite memories from being in the Load Center?
Hey, it was being introduced to the people that I now call friends, like you and Monica, Bert. They told Bert, look, he needed to meet me, and I'm meeting him. I'm like, I needed to meet you. You done started businesses, sold businesses, and now he's the doctorpreneur over the Low Center right now. So, man, it's hard to say. There's so many positive experiences with people from around the world. Jehoiakim Christensen from Norway, the Norwegian giant.
Yeah, he's a heck of a guy, too. Another shout out to him and everyone else in the Low Center. I didn't leave you out intentionally. Please remember to subscribe to stay current for not only the Gasparilla Overload, but all inspiring entrepreneurs, as we have now passed the 6-year mark, right? 2019, we launched. We're going on year 7, and we're excited to keep it going. Thank you so much for your time, Karlton, and happy Gasparilla.
Hey, man, this is an elite level experience. I'm glad I could have it with you.
Hey, anytime, and we'll bring him back on soon. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylancy@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lancy. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.